But we need to appreciate what they did, right? And two elementary kids, so. Just keep talking to get. Yeah. She said like social media stuff for everybody.
But in the meantime.
Yeah, everything in
Like you buy books and I.
Then you agree with what the person is saying.
And like when.
She does that for you.
I talked to her. That's okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's exciting.
You got it. It's all good.
All right, everyone, it is 6 o'clock and I will go ahead and we're just gonna go with
Oh, okay.
just that.
Thanks.
But thank you for,
To see ourselves in there.
so I will call this meeting to order of the Farmers Branch Multicultural Task Force. And just a reminder that the meeting is being recorded by our friend, Mr. Al here. So just speak to it and clearly so he can recognize you and move around the room. Yes, wave. Don't forget the restrooms are right over here to my left, stage left here. So before we get into the approval of the minutes, I do want to recognize our newest member, Oscar Brazinho. And Oscar, welcome to the group.
Thank you. It's glad to be here.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself. You've got the floor.
Okay, my name is Oscar Briseno. I've been in Farmers Branch, close to 50 years.
Wow.
I started in third grade when it was Vialwood back in the day. About 8 or 9 years old. So I've been here about 50 years. And, in fact, before, they changed Montgomery, when the principal of Montgomery was my principal at the time when I went. That's how long I've been here. And I went to Turner, went to Field and Turner, and my wife did the same. Went to McLaughlin, and my kid, all three of my kids went to Turner, Field. And, did sports. My kids did too, and I'm in my third year. That's the third year of the president of the Farmers Branch Moose Lodge, a private organization. I know Omar, and he asked me if I wanted to invest. Yeah, I guess I could. I mean, Farmers Branch has been good to me, so it's time for me to pay back.
All right.
I'm glad to be here.
Welcome.
Thank
Well,
you.
we're definitely gonna get payback on this one. We're gonna get some work out of you, but thank you very much. We realize it's, and to all of you again, thank you all for your volunteering, your commitment, and for what we're doing here and coming together as things slowly kind of are starting to come together. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the minutes from the last meeting. I think you all have received them, and if you had an opportunity to look over them, are there any changes or questions about them before we go to the next process of approval?
And if you would for me, just in case I'm fallible, if there's any mistakes in attendance at the top, please let me know. From last meeting.
I think we just got the.
No, y'all should have been emailed. Y'all were emailed everything from the city secretary.
I'll double check.
Is that not?
Did you, if that didn't happen, we need to make sure because they should have sent you a packet
Yeah, let me.
with an agenda and your minutes.
What email would it come from?
It would have come from Stacy. I believe.
Stacy Henderson or Aaron Flores?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe the email.
It would have been last week.
Did anyone receive them? No one not.
I am not.
They might in the group.
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, well, I need to follow up on that then. I'll make a note.
Well, if all
If
11.
all of you are saying you did get it, there's,
Clearly do.
I sent my notes to you guys.
but you didn't get
we
the
had-
packet. You didn't get a packet. Okay.
And our apologies for that then. So at this point, I guess we're not able to approve the meeting minutes.
The only thing we could do real quick, Jeff, is I could review them. And then that way we don't have to worry about approving minutes. Are y'all, is that acceptable?
Sandy just gives a brief. All right, no, that's on us. So
All right,
we'll get.
so. I have my handy glasses with me. Okay, so in attendance, I had Jeff, myself, Megan, Anna, Jana, Elizabeth, Rob, Al, Quinn, and Jenny. And then Mahesh, were you here last time?
I'm sure, I was not sure last time.
Okay, so I need to put that you were not in attendance. Okay. I didn't have you as, but okay, thank you so much. Okay, the meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. Al moved to approve the minutes, Rob seconded, all approved. And then we discussed expectations of staff, and this was regards to the meetings are recorded and available on view on FBTV. Stated the task force are volunteers and to be mindful of using city logos. And then Elizabeth did remind the task force the importance of being in attendance at these meetings as well as any committees you serve on. And then we discussed updates from the committees. Entertainment, we talked about not going the route of a musical act, but focusing on cultural performances, having a fashion show, a kids area. And we talked about the SharePoint that was sent out to everyone to give you the opportunity to add contacts in the different aspects of whether it was vendors or performances. And then we talked about marketing was a grassroots effort. Y'all helping out with being feet on the ground for like HOAs, churches, businesses. The city, we would take care of city property, social media posts, sharing the event group. We would basically focus on digital marketing, boosting the Facebook event. We have Rob offered to produce a promotional video. And then we just said we weren't going to focus on sponsorships this year, but we'll discuss if a sponsor reached out and they made sense for the event. Education, what we kind of clarified, Jeff gave an example of the Cricket Nationals, inviting them to come out possibly and give a demo, as well as maybe making a piñata. That we're, in regards to food, we're going to focus on food trucks, and that they have to have a Dallas County permit and a Farmers Branch fire permit. And then that applications were being created on Google Forms. And then we discussed the event being March 23rd, 2024 at the Historical Park, 11 to 5 a.m. Discussed all the different events that the team had attended, and then we presented the logo, gave out the media kit, and asked the committee not to show the logo until given permission from the staff. And then we said city council would fill the open spot on the task force, which they have done now. And then we discussed committee meetings and then storyboard of promotional video for future agenda items. And then we had adjournment, and that was Anna motion to adjourn, and Al seconded the motion. Is there any corrections or that you can think of, or any additions? Okay.
Okay, so if that's the case, verbally, we'll do, let's approve the minutes. I need a motion to approve.
A motion to approve the minutes read.
I have a motion from Jana Hoffman. I need a second.
Second.
Second from Jaime Rivas. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved, and we will get those out to you all. Again, our apologies for that. But just know that they're supposed to be coming to you about a week out. So if you're not getting it but we'll figure out what happened on our end, but just know that that's the protocol. Okay, so moving on to the next item. So they don't even have a copy of this then, correct?
Of the agenda.
No.
Mhm.
Okay. The agenda is very similar to what we've seen, this format that we have where we give committee updates and things of that nature, and discuss event details. So it's a very similar format to your previous agendas. So don't want you guys to be flying blind here without any unexpected, but so the first item is discuss regular agenda items, and that would be discuss committee updates. And I know we all have been meeting as side committees, and thank you all for that. And not to touch on it again, I know everyone's busy, holidays are crazy, again, thank you all for attending these meetings and for your side meetings that are going on. And thank you all for that. We realize everyone's schedules are busy, but thank you all for that. So I'm going to go straight into the entertainment update. And we had a meeting last week with Jenny, Anna, and Mahesh came in out. I'm sorry. So we kind of had a good discussion there of some strategy again. We have sent out invitation, or basically emails have gone out from our office officially to a lot of the organizations, performance groups. We've already gotten some applications have come back in of groups that would like to perform. We did add to the performance email a line item for them to put a performance fee. So far, $300, $400. One group is asking $700. we'll start negotiating. We had obviously a big event a week and a half ago, and our staff was getting through that. So now that we're a team of two, and Megan is going to have the C-section tomorrow, so it's us right here. Here's your team, staff. But anyhow, we had a great entertainment meeting. Have not gotten much interest, in fact, any on the fashion show, which is one of the components that we had talked about. And I think that will evolve. It will, these things will kind of work themselves out. And as we get talking to more groups and offer that opportunity, we think that will, kind of take off from there. We figured, about four groups we think we can average per hour. We realize there's going to be some sort of, a mayor's speech at the beginning, maybe a proclamation read to get the event started. But we're figuring about 4 groups, 15 minutes per performance. But again, it's all flexible as we start negotiating with these groups, who's available. We did learn that there is a new event, the McKinney Asian Festival. It's the same Saturday as ours. It just happened to go that route. It's not city produced like this one is, but I think the group that's putting it on is well organized. Their website is already up and running, looks fantastic. So, but I think Jenny has already contacted one group that's going to be performing there and then performing at ours. So I think there is room, and we'll kind of evolve into that as we go forward. But we're going to continue now following up with the groups. I'm going to go start negotiating with the ones that have already expressed interest, because there is a contract that will draw up. There's funds being exchanged, so the city will draw up a contract for that. Anything else I'm missing on that? Anna is going to be taking running point on a children's area as far as the entertainment for the event.
We had discussed, I'm very sorry, guys, I wrote down the wrong time. We had discussed, possibly doing like an art thing, depending if like the fashion show doesn't work out the way that we want it to, and also depending on if the event center is like ready at that time or not. I think that's it.
Okay. And I think a good point was brought up about the, India and North, and you want to kind of elaborate on that. And we had talked about, which groups, if we have a point where we're having to decide and excluding a certain group because we don't have time, and it's just a matter of keeping track. And next year we'll invite groups that were not able to come in this year. But you had a good point that you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, there are several groups that form, and they're professional groups. There's dance studios. There's also UTD and the dance group. So there's a lot of choices for us. The issue is there are different kind of dances. South has different dances. North, even ultra north has even different dances. So that's going to be a good challenge to have. Pick a group that will appeal to the most as far as educating from the Indian culture.
So just something we'll just, as we say, it'll work itself out. We'll figure out how to get there. But I think so far we've had a group from German, Austria's expressed interest, Colombia, the Chinese Cultural Youth Orchestra. So it's starting to kind of come in. And now that staff has been able to get through Christmas event, we will start following up with these groups and putting more, feelers out there and really starting to follow up and see if we can't solidify and start building out a program for the day. So it's getting there. As I say, it's just taking a little time, but I feel comfortable with where we're at. I've been in worse scenarios where we have no options out there and we're all looking at each other like, what's going to happen? But I feel good. It will come together. It may not appear that way right now, but I'm feeling good. Any questions for the entertainment committee? We're meeting, about once a month prior to this meeting. And it seems like that's about a good frequency. So we'll fit with that. All right. Next up is decor. Jana, take it away.
Well, Jeff and I met. It was wonderful. He already had so many great ideas. Some of the things I was able to do pictures. We we're thinking about doing balloons. So of course, there's the balloons that we can order. We can have possibly the gateway to cultural, or if there's a different thing we want to put on there. So that's one thing you can pass around if you want. No, I don't need it back. And then also the the custom feather flags. And that would be another great thing that is a visual that people will see, that will know where they're going. Of course, there's the tablecloths and, if we boost, those will be provided by the city. Is that correct?
Yep.
And, stage backdrop, probably the same logo and the banner that goes over the entrance. I think we talked about it last time, having the flags that line up and then the globe in the center. So as they enter in, they'll see those flags and the globe. It's a great visual. Possibly a chalk artist can come out and do a beautiful chalk art. That would be fun. Maybe one that's like 3D. You feel like you're gonna fall into it. I had some fun things. I know you can't see from my phone, but you can get the banners. I was thinking of the children's area, maybe having the banners of the different flags. They're not very expensive on Amazon, and they could be strung, and it would be a visual for the kids to come into. As well as, I got this for my granddaughters, but I love Half Price Bookstore. But We Are Americans, and it's each page is talking about a different country and culture. And I almost bought all of them because I was like, wouldn't this be neat if this was at the children's?
What's funny was I was actually looking at different storytelling things online.
Look at that, and maybe someone could read it, maybe we could have several out. Just thought that was a really fun book. It's very simple to the point, very colorful, and shows the different countries. So I really liked that as well. So as with those flags, I love this idea that Jeff had. Again, you can't see my phone here, but a huge map of the world. And behind it have a cork board. And okay, so yeah, we're all living here in Farmers Branch, we're born in America, but where did our ancestors come from? And each of us pinpoint, and even we did this Sunday in our prayer room at the Branch Church, and I was blown away how everyone went back to, well, I'm from Germany, I'm from England, I'm from Scotland, I'm from Bulgaria, and it was beautiful to see that where we really come from. Of course, heaven, but it's a beautiful thing for us to embrace and realize how beautiful our culture has come together and blended. So I really love that idea. I have a map of the world with the animals from each of the world. I've been teaching my granddaughters. I've been very privileged to go several places in the world, and it's really fun to see the animals that are in those places. So I'm willing to have that displayed, or if we get another one or get an artist to paint. It's another thing for children and adults to see, oh, in Africa, there's the big five, what are those big five? Or in India, what is known? So another beautiful way, education to me, that it's all blending together. I just think it's really beautiful. So I love that. We'll probably get the branded t-shirts with the multicultural with staff on the back. And the more we go forward with that, we'll get sizes, and we'll be wearing those as we will probably spend several days out at the park for getting ready for the event. And then another thing that we thought about, I have used this book for years and years. It's called Operation World. And you can look up a country and find out so many beautiful details about that country. Not just religion, but also food or how it's broken down, different South and North. And so it's very, very old, but it's a wonderful thing to use. And I was also given these conversational pieces from Sparrow & Co. And it's, what would you like to learn from the day? And there's learning, there's time, there's talents, but these conversational cards, and I found them on Amazon about the country flags. And I thought that was really cool. But instead of me taking the time to try to figure out what I could write about each country, I found the flags from each country on cards like this that could sit at a table and be conversation pieces. And once again, a way for all of us to learn about each country, each people group, and for our children. I really have a heart for the kids learning more about it as well. We also talked about centerpieces for the tables and like piñatas or, any other cultural things that you could help us with that we could have out. we could have pencils and pens and all that, but kids will buy those things for a penny or two or whatever, and they'll go home and probably get thrown away. So we really want this to be a more meaningful, educational, visual, because there's all the ways to learn. And then, Mark and I ventured, I don't know who told us about it, but the Cultural Cup. Have you been there?
The
Cultured Cup.
Yes, oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So these gentlemen, are they called
Kyle and Phil.
a sommelier? What's it called? There's only 150 people in the world that are deemed to blend teas
Yeah.
from all over the world. And they have a wall that is teas from all over the world, as well as coffees. But it's such an education because the White House is very big about having teas, and they blended teas for Laura Bush, and this is really sweet. Here they are in Farmers Branch, you guys. And one of the owners was in China at a huge event for tea. The teas are amazing. Mark and I work with refugees in Vickery Meadows, and we've been at an event where I had some tea. And I was blown away by this tea from Iraq. And so we found that tea. And it's so phenomenal. It's not like your little tea, y'all. Which is good. But it's, it's got all these flavors and oils and smells. And so I'm going to talk to them a little bit more. We would like for them to come out, but I understand they want to grab people who are really interested in tea and want to drink tea and buy their tea. And we're going to try to convince them to maybe have a tea 101 in the Dotson House or something like that. I don't know. But Saturdays are the busiest days and their staff is very busy. But yeah, look them up. The Culture Cup. We keep wanting to call it cultural. But look them up, go by. The teas are phenomenal.
Yeah, they were voted like the #1 tea shop in America.
Yeah,
I mean, right here in Farmers
Right here.
Branch.
right here in Farmers Branch. So we went over a lot. I hope you like some of these ideas. Are we still teasing these out or are we voting on them?
We'll just kind of,
Okay,
we'll look at our, our budget line item for that, just kind of see how can we leverage that and get the most bang for our buck. And, but yes, those are all ideas that just came out of that first meeting.
yes.
I mean, when I talked to the chalk artist, if he wants $1,000, then, we gotta decide, do we want
Yes,
that or do we want
right.
something else that's
Right,
permanent?
Yeah,
And,
great.
because I plan on, buying branded stuff that we're gonna use continually.
yes.
That's the
Year
idea.
after year, yes.
So we'll just kind of see where that
Good
goes.
job, Janet.
Well, we also talked, Jet, he was, wow, mastermind. Also tattoos, kids like the little, things like that. So these little cards were, I know you can't see it, but of the nations. And even if the kid's going, oh, I know that, I'm gonna Google it. Well, they're getting educated.
Yeah.
What is the map of whatever country, Jamaica or, So that is really fun. And,
Like, when are you gonna like finalize, like for the flag, the flags, we have, so, but when, there's gonna be like a cutoff date where we've got 40 flags or 50 flags, like, we're gonna have like a cutoff date, and then what countries are we gonna research to put into that category?
I don't know if there's been defined where it has to be a certain number of flags. Really, it's gonna be, do we like, where can the flags fit and within the layout? How many can we buy? Obviously, I don't know if we can buy 200 individual.
But that's what I'm saying, and
But-
plus how long to manufacture them, and we gotta
Well,
have.
you can go on and get them
yeah.
Right.
on Amazon, and it may just be year one, hey, we can afford to buy 50 flags. Year two, we're just gonna keep adding to this until we get the representation that, and I feel comfortable telling any person that, where's my country? Say, look, we're building, we had a limited budget,
Right,
we're
right.
starting with,
Right,
and we're gonna get there one day, one year, just not year one. And so,
And I think it would be wise if we could pull off of what we know here in Farmers Branch to represent those countries first, for sure.
Yeah.
And I also had an idea, and Mark found me the picture, but, I thought of, wouldn't it be neat if, okay, I'm a nature freak, but I'm like, wouldn't it be neat if we planted a tree that represented kind of what all the nations mean? And of course, that's peace, right? We all want peace. We want hope. And so I was kind of looking into that, and we were at an event a while back, and it was a beautiful table. It wasn't very big. And there were just maybe 2 by 2 pieces of wood that represented a tree from that nation. And then it listed out where they were from. It was really, really, it was, and now that I looked at it, it was small. But that's commissioning someone to be able to find those woods, to be able to make the table. I mean, I thought of Tim Ketcher said he's Bible art with wood. And, you know, maybe someone even would donate their time. You know, we've got some artisans in this area that do woodwork as well. You probably know about them, right?
Alan, Gambino.
Yeah, okay, see, but and it's something dedicated that is always in the park, maybe in the event center, but we always look at and remember, oh, this makes a table, but look at all the different kinds.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's bring us together and realize, you know, we all share the same DNA. So, yeah,
Well, a lot of those kind of flow over to education too, so it's not
yes,
just a
they
core.
do,
So
they do.
I know our education committee has not yet had, to
Sorry.
formally meet, no, but I know I kind of, again, this thing's, it's gonna blend, how we work together and how this thing gets,
No.
one committee, yes.
So question, just to kind of bounce off Rob and what you were, because you had asked about like the flag and stuff like that. Would it be fair based off of entertainment wise that at least the groups that we are having, that we would at least have flags from their country for the groups that we're already looking
Absolutely.
at? So at least those would be guaranteed, and then we kind of, as we go, decide what all we're gonna add.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy to go with that. Yeah.
And then my second question, which is separate, which is for you, Deanna. So you're talking about the chalk artist person. If we did book that, would he be able to do like one thing in one section and then maybe one thing in the children's section, or are we trying to?
I think that would be a cost thing.
This gentleman was at Plano International Festival, and when he was, that's why I saw him there. So when I visit with him, just ask him I saw what he was doing there,
Okay,
and I'll ask him, is it just, when he books these things, what's his
right.
normal MO? Does it just, here's what you get for this fee, or can he do some similar things? I mean, I definitely would want him to do the logo, as I'm visiting, as you're walking down the concrete pad, there's the logo of our event. And then if there are other opportunities
Okay.
that we would say, hey, we have a children's area, what do you think? And he may say, you know what, I have students that I can suggest for this kind of thing that I would, so I don't know, we'll see what he envisions with that.
I was thinking kids, bright colors, chalk,
Yeah,
you know.
very exciting.
Okay.
But we could even, if we wanted to add on to the chalk thing, recruit students from the local schools
Yeah.
that are really into art and make their own like chalk art or something.
Well, that is something I know years ago, when I did work for the city, I got to go with Maria and we judged artwork. Can you remember what it was for? It was across from the skating rink where the Stars practice. And I thought, let's get our kids involved. Let's tell them about this event. What does multicultural mean to you? Come up with some artwork for us. And we have where we get first, second, third place, maybe a prize for that. Because I remember that room was filled with artwork and these students did a phenomenal job. I mean, all ages, and it was really sweet. So,
I mean, I could see in like a year two, the event,
yes.
having that decorated, that whole entire room of artwork submitted by kids, it's protected, it's not when, I've seen things just fly off but having them submit that and decorating that, because we talked about how do we program that building in future years? We don't know, but artwork was one of the things that was
Yes.
suggested because it is protected in there, it's secure. And that would be a great thing to feature children's art in there, and they turn it, and whether you're giving them the opportunity to do something themselves, or you give them a template and they paint it or they color it
Yeah.
however they see fit, and the room is just a collage of nothing but these. So there's ways to program that, and I think that'd be a great idea for future.
Getting the schools
that building.
involved and then those
Yeah.
kids and the parents, it's
Sure.
gonna bring more feet, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the-
Yeah, you can give at different levels. I mean, last week I was at, my, second graders, literacy night, and they had, each kid was representing, or not each kid, but that week they had kids representing different countries. Like my, fourth grader was representing, El Salvador. My second grader was representing Argentina.
Okay.
And so it was interesting. They all had little tidbits to talk about at home. But, and then once you went into the cafeteria, then there were boards showing other countries, but even like at Blaylock, they had a taste of Blaylock where they had a lot of different cultures representing their food from their homeland. And that was an interesting thing. So
Yeah,
granted, you can't. But it was interesting because, you know, they were dressed in,
Yeah,
you know, the clothing of the country they represented.
I have a friend, that same thing in Richardson,
Yeah.
her students were involved in something like that, and she said it was so beautiful to see everybody come out in the community with art and food and color and clothing, and so. I'm so excited about this event. Thank you, guys. I know it's a lot of work, but thank you for doing this.
All right, I'm gonna keep moving on to marketing committee.
Okay, so we had the opportunity to meet last week, and it was Anna, Rob, Quinn, Monica, and Jaime. Jaime. And we talked, one of the ideas that had come from our marketing manager, which is Rachel Johnson, and I'd share this with Rob because Rob was nice enough to offer a promotional video for us. We're going to incorporate one of your ideas and one of her ideas. So he's going to work on that for us. And basically we're going to go from the Google Maps of the satellite, and it's going to be like, it's going to come from the down all the way down until it hits Farmers Branch, the Farmers Branch Historical Park, and then the logo will spin and then fall, and then it'll give the information for the event. So he's going to work on that. And then we're going to take your idea, because we feel like the welcome would actually, people would probably lose interest early on if people are standing on stage doing that. So we're going to put out a call for people to email, to video themselves saying welcome in their mother tongue, and then send it to Rob, and then Rob's going to create a video, and then we'll use that for promotional.
Okay, I do
materials.
work in Vickery with refugees, and we have a form they can sign.
Okay.
So not only could you get people that really are from that country and in their clothing, I can get men, women, and children.
That would be
I'm
great.
just waiting on that. So I guess you'd be the one coming with me.
Yeah.
I'll get you falling in love and wanting to work with refugees. And it is beautiful to hear their languages.
Well, and even in their clothing, that's even a nice
yeah.
touch.
And I'm hoping that ILAD and Vickery and Co. will, as nonprofits, get a table and educate people more on that as well. So.
And I saw
I'll
that you
talk
put
to you.
those
I'll
in
talk to
the-
Rob too.
Okay, that would be great. And then we talked about, so I did send a test to Rob just to kind of see if that would work, just recording myself and emailing it, and it worked fine. And then Quinn actually volunteered. She's going to work on reaching out to the different churches. So if you have contacts for her, that the spreadsheet that we shared, and Oscar, I sent that to you today. I emailed you, so you'll get an email saying that you've been given permission to the SharePoint spreadsheet file, and you have the ability to edit as well. And in that, it's divided up into sections for you to, if you know of anyone that you want to add that's not already in there that you think could be a potential performer, a potential organization who'd want a booth, or a vendor.
Oh.
So that's available to all of us. And I did add a line in there to say added by. So we can kind of keep track of who's putting what where. And then we scheduled our next meeting for Monday, January 8th, the day of our meeting that night at 11, to reconvene and talk again about how those efforts are going. And then Rachel will work internally to start building our graphics for our H-frames for our signs, and we'll get those toward the end of February. And in your packet, you will see where she put together a proposed marketing. Those are just options. And then I also went ahead and put a copy of the logo for you. And that was emailed to you as well, because we added Farmers Branch to the logo. So if you haven't seen the event, I know many of you already have seen it and shared it. Please be doing that. Please share the event, talk about it. And Rob, I noticed you put it on your LinkedIn that we had met, and you put the logo. So that was fantastic. So anywhere that we can be pushing out the information, we know, as we talked about, it's a grassroots effort when it's the first year.
Yeah.
So we definitely need y'all's help with that. And if y'all have any other ideas from a marketing perspective, please let the committee know. Yes, sir. So those are the H-frame signs. And so what we'll do is we'll take responsibility for all the ones that will go on city property, and then we'll pass them out to all of you. And if you have churches, HOAs, we're going to do flyers as well for businesses or even churches who would be willing to put them on their bulletin boards, in their newsletters. anything like that. So once we have the graphic built with just information, I'll make sure y'all all have that as well.
So I mean, I'm not sure how many, we put out about, just for reference, Didn't Drive Live, our concert series, we will put out about 150 yard signs, and that's hitting medians, and
Yeah.
we figured out where the mowers don't go, and that's us. And we lose about maybe 20% to attrition every year. So that's just us on city property. So I'm thinking with a room of 11 people, how many should we print up?
Well, if we've
500?
done that many, right, if we've done that many for us,
Do
So
the city workers put the ones out in the city and say, no, okay.
These workers right here,
with our orange vests.
with our orange vest playing Frogger, dodging traffic.
Well,
To
we
get to
get
that.
that.
So-
How
So-
big are these egg signs?
Pardon me?
So-
18 by 24. It's like a campaign sign.
And we've noticed that we learned that the smaller H frame that's lower to the ground is actually a better option than the taller ones. So when we do give them to you, we'll give you the signs and we'll give you the H to
Right,
put them together.
If you've got neighbors that would be willing to put this in their front yard, anything, it's awesome. And as we've learned, it's the perfect time of year. The ground's still soft. You try and do that in August, you're gonna break that. line. It's not going into Texas Farm Branch play. So, but anyway, that's a great thing to visual, and I think, once people start seeing that around town, that will, I'm not sure, we will put the website on there and the location. It's very brief. It's just a quick, reminder. This is coming up. It's the date, location, but it's,
And what's nice is because you're typically, when you're driving, unless you're at a stop sign or a stop light, you can't really so we just want them to see it. So if they can, and Gateway to the Globe, but we will start getting that out there and getting those analytics and those things on Google so that people will find it.
You can also put a QR code on.
And we've done that on, like, at the event in the past, but we haven't done them in the median just because people aren't.
Yeah.
But it would be good to have them on the flyer.
wouldn't hurt. I mean,
Mhm.
people walking their pets or, passing by
It's gonna hurt
someone's
anything.
yard to have it in there. So that's a good idea. Include that. Yes. Anything else? Cause you're next up with food vendors.
Oh, yes. So at this point, we did discuss that, and right now it's basically just trying to focus on all of our food trucks that have Dallas permits and then get them through to our fire. So we did talk about, one of the things was we have to decide from America perspective, what food truck do we want to represent? And the marketing committee, we kind of had a dual committee kind of conversation just because the other committee is quite small. And most of them thought hamburgers was probably the way to go, and that would be what you would think when you think American. Otherwise, you're thinking festival food, which would be like corn dogs or funnel cake, but they seem to land on hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah.
So I'll work on that. It's just trying to find them. So, but if you're out and about, and I told the marketing committee, right now there's a lot of craft fairs because the school puts them on, they do them for fundraisers. If you go to a craft fair and you see something unique that's even if it's from someone who's from that country and they're making jewelry, they're putting some type of aspect in regards to their culture into those pieces, that still would be a good qualification. Just like I've said, when we're at the Plano Festival, a gentleman was making the dragons on his 3D printer. Well, it fit in perfectly because that's one aspect of the culture. And I actually bought one for my son because he loves dragons. So anybody that you think of, grab their card, put their information in, and then and we'll kind of go from there. Oh, and I did forget to mention, that's the next thing on the applications I need as well. And the food, we're trying to focus purely on trucks at this point is what we're trying to focus on. And then we'll have to bring in, we'll have someone there that will do our beer and wine. So there'll be a concession stand because it's speed to service. Yes, Oscar.
Not him.
Oh.
I'm just picking up everything.
So, me and Quinn actually, after our meeting the other day, she put the post out in the groups for like anyone who's interested in like doing vending and stuff like that. like she did that, and I know that I shared that as well, so we started getting on this weekend.
Okay,
And I think you gained a couple interests on like some of the food side of it, we're working on it.
okay, all right.
Oh, yeah, now, so basically, you're just trying to do food trucks. Is that what we're trying to do?
Mainly because, one, it's a little bit more difficult when we're trying to get restaurants. Because one, if they haven't ever done an offsite event, there's a lot required of them. And we don't want to bring someone in that's never done it before, because most likely they would probably get shut down by the health department. And we can't afford to have that happen. And then a lot of times you don't find them doing it because Saturday is a very busy night for them anyway. So that's why we were looking at the food trucks. And so right now my focus is, and I already have two. I've got two so far. And we talked about probably, Jeff, and you can kind of give your input on this, not knowing how many to be in attendance, how many food trucks we're going to have. Because the other thing is that what I don't want to do the food trucks is bring out so many that they don't make enough for it to have been worth. And most trucks want $1,000 to make at least $1,000 minimum is what they're hoping.
What's
to
the least amount of people you have had at an event? Because I know I've been at some where there were 20,000.
I mean, we were expecting 4,000 for Christmas.
Okay.
We got almost 7,000. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay,
I would love to get 2,000 to 3,000 people this opening
I think.
first year.
think
I
we'll do
mean,
better than
looking
that.
at some of the other cultural events we've done that started at 800 or 900 and jumped to 2,000 by the second year.
It's
So-
one of the frustrating things about food trucks, is that you would have to wait in line
The line
so
is
long.
long.
Sure.
So I think more helps and more variety, but
Mhm.
that's just a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, a target would be 10 to, at least maybe 10.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean-
good.
At least
That's good.
I'm
Well, I think
thinking, just thinking out loud here.
And when we were talking, our minimum we were doing was.
Yeah, at least, well, only because just my
Yeah.
concern with 10 would be how much money is each one
Well-
going, but we're not gonna I'm also leaving it open to
Right.
not take a percentage
Okay.
from them as well, so that should help them as well. And it's the question of whether or not, do they want to go ahead and invest in the event knowing it's going to grow? Because a lot of times that's part of it as well.
Okay.
And it's visibility for their truck. I mean, I just had the hibachi truck out for the first time at Christmas, and they did fantastic. And I found them because they got a Dallas County permit. I've never done business with them before, and they were fantastic to do business with. And so, she'll be at the event. So she'll be at the event, and then I have other ones that have shown some interest, and I have emails out to them as well.
Do you also do, like ice cream or,
So dessert's gonna be a
Dessert,
struggle.
yeah.
Dessert's gonna be a struggle only because we need something sweet, but you're not gonna find like a baklava truck or,
Yeah.
or someone who does like something like that.
Okay.
But what I'm hoping is I'm hoping that we can work with some of the countries who want to represent, who would be willing to do some things and do them cottage law, meaning that they can make them at
Yes.
home as long as they're not temperature controlled and as long as they follow the cottage law rules and the ingredients, they could have them at their booths
Okay.
and give a little bit of a taste of their country, which I would find very exciting because I love to try new and different things. So that's kind of what I'm hoping might happen. And then we just going into the applications. Y'all have seen them. There's the links on the website. We sent you the links for they can go in. We have the commercial, the small business nonprofit. On the nonprofit, I did have to go in and add because I made the assumption people would know what I meant legal, like 501c3 nonprofit. And I have people who are not nonprofits trying to apply for nonprofit. So just so you guys, I wanted to make you aware of that we are talking about 501c3s. So they're truly organizations that are nonprofit that will, in order for them to be able to have that.
And we may even have to ask for that as.
Their certificate, their
certificate,
certificate.
They could get rid of.
That's wise.
So did marketing committee, anybody have anything to add? Did I leave anything out?
I was doing some research over the weekend trying to find different food trucks in the area. And are y'all wanting to reach out to them, or do you want me to just call and say, hey, do you have a permit?
So I would probably tell you that if I could, and we talked a little bit about combining committees a little bit with vendors, is right now, I think I can manage the food. It's my concern right now is filling our tents and our spots. So finding the marketplace vendors and finding the people that are going to represent the country. So any of those would be great. Because right now I don't have any applications for just vendors, which we know we like to shop. I don't know about the men, but the women love to shop. So I think if I'm just staying focused on who already has Dallas County permits, that's probably going to be the way to go. And so I appreciate any efforts that you're making, but if you come across a truck, you know, if you want to just put that information in the spreadsheet, that's fantastic.
Okay.
And then I can go from there.
I think right now too, we have a pretty decent amount of food trucks that's on the list right now, so. We find them, we can just add them, but like, she's done on the stuff right now, like.
Yeah. So, and I think the harder part is finding because what I don't want for our event is I don't want to go to an international multicultural event and see Avon or Cincy or, you know, I really want to represent the cultures.
Yeah.
And so, but we have to find them.
So Vickery & Co would be one, because all the jewelry is made by the refugees, and then there's clothing, and the clothing is so incredible, you guys, because they teach these women how to sew. And they've got big T trauma, so they could hear a noise and just like stop for the day. But the clothing is beautiful. I'll send you the link. Sorry, I haven't done that yet, but she is selling her summer fashions right now and going into winter. And I think I wore it the first night. She has a shirt that says hope in all different languages.
Oh, that's
And,
beautiful.
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's on sale. So I'll ask her how many she has. And that's why I was like, well, I think you need to make a t-shirt that says welcome of all languages. So, but I also know there's Sparrow & Co in Louisville, and I know, because I've been to Africa, we take an empty suitcase, we bring back things and sell them to give back to the women in the countries to make them sustainable. So I could talk to Rachel Joy about, and she uses local artisans as well. But her things are kind of expensive, where I think Vickery & Co is a little bit more.
Well, and here's the thing, you never know.
Yeah,
So I
that's
wouldn't
true.
be, you know, it's, people will decide if they want to pay the price or not.
Okay,
You know, what I think is expensive, someone else might not think is expensive.
okay.
So I would definitely keep
A
that.
turkey shrug for 5,000.
Oh, well.
I
don't know about-
Gorgeous rug. I'll say that. No, she has inexpensive things as well, but she's the one that made these conversational cards. But yeah, I'll check with both of them as well.
Okay. And then, before we go on to the details, Jeff, we need to talk about, Oscar on the committee.
Oh, so Oscar, I'll just talk with you offline because everyone's on a committee and I'll sit and visit with you about which committee that you want to be a part of and where your interests are. So you know that conversation is coming.
So, if there's someone, I was thinking maybe, and this could be, Jeffrey, you talked a little bit about this, the Pinata, what's the name of the ABC? What's the name of the
ABC.
ABC? If someone would be willing to reach out to them and talk to the owner and see if they would be willing to maybe come and do a demonstration
I'll
of
do that
a
if you'll-
pinata.
Will you have,
He's down in Bishop. He is the premier pinata maker in North Texas, ABC. And
Okay.
we have bought several from him, custom through the years. So he's familiar with Farmers Branch and we've tried to get him to come to other events to do some sort of demonstration and because they make them there. It's
It's
really,
fantastic.
the store is amazing. It's down in Bishop Arts
I
District
love Bishop Arts.
and he's there and, but he is familiar with Farmers Branch. We spent some money with this. Yeah.
And
so
he's wanted to come. It's just
Yeah.
they are very busy, but if we can get on his calendar early, he was very kind and I think he really does want to participate.
So abc.com is his website.
ABC, Party Decor, I believe is
Okay.
the name of it. That's what it's called.
I'll find
and have
it.
you
What's
heard
his
back
name
from the
again? And that way I don't get a,
I think you'll have to look that up for you.
Okay,
I'll be glad to do that for you.
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, just, any event details, we've gone over these before, just to, reiterate, the 23rd, we're still gonna stick with the 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. timeframe there in the historical park. We do have a city event the night before. The adult Easter egg hunt takes place the night before in a different part of the park. So I know Jenny had asked last week whether groups could come out the day before and rehearse or do something like that. I'm not sure that's a possibility with the other event going on. So we just I would not even, in your travels and discussions, I don't think the park would be, other than us setting up logistical stuff, but I don't know if we could bring any groups in the day ahead of time. But that event is taking place the night before.
But they could bring stuff, logistics stuff the night before?
I think we could kind of do it play by ear, just see
Okay.
what, because there are multiple entrances to that park and where things are gonna stage that we've been told the meadow is ours to do what we want with, but to be respectful of what we'll just have to kind of play it by
Yeah.
ear and see how we can, but we obviously want to accommodate as much as we can. We've learned the more you can do the day before the event,
Yes.
so much
Everyone's smoother.
better day of.
Mhm.
So you've already gone over the Facebook event page. Please share that, and the updated logo was sent out. Is there anything else you want to add at this point for event details or anything that we've missed I'm gonna try and see if I can't get a little more money in the budget. I've realized that, a lot of the startup costs, first year banners, a lot of things are gonna have to be printed. So I am, looking for leadership to see if we can't get a little more money for what I think is gonna be like the core items and printing that I think is gonna be, gonna hit us a little more than what I thought. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I have some new numbers for you guys by next time. Happy New Year. So anything else that we've got for the group? Anything to kind of benefit the group? Anything that comes to mind? Yes, Ms. Jenny?
We discussed this before, like, can we issue volunteer hours to students? To, and now you're going to do like, with the, kids activity?
Yeah.
If we can get, volunteer hours to, some like a high school student, I'm pretty sure we can get it.
Well,
Yeah.
that involves the Dallas Christian College done away. Dallas Christian College, they have kids that do volunteer hours as well. So partnering with groups like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants to take the lead and coordinate that, because I mean, like in the children's area, you might need volunteers. Again,
Yeah.
working with kids gets kind of, you can't, so it has to be the right volunteer group. But we have used them. In fact, we used them at the Christmas event for
The
the
characters.
characters, the roaming characters.
They did a
were high
great
school
job.
Kids. So it is,
Yeah. Volunteer hours.
On their side. So for college applications.
It's the, wherever it's organized, like, for example, like the orchestra, I'm bringing is a non-profit organization, so we should work the hours, but I just cannot issue for the, it's a kind of.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, so,
I think, yeah, that's fine. I mean, we can sign, if there's a form that needs signed that they put in 4 hours a day. Is that what you're, at the event? Is that what you're?
I need to check with that, because for the city, it's not like 501c organization.
Oh, yeah. We are.
Oh, you really?
You're not a C3
We're
though,
not, I mean, it's not a 501c3,
but we're a
but we're
nonprofit.
it's a nonprofit, municipality that we are.
If that's the case.
Yeah, we've had students volunteer hours. We're legit.
yeah, check on that, like their information and stuff, and I could probably get with you, we'll get with both of you, and you mention some people too. I was not helping. Yeah, like I said, especially after the holidays and stuff, I'm gonna be really like on it, so we'll have more of a
You're
game.
doing great.
We'll have more of a game plan for like everything that we're doing, and then we could like see where we needed like volunteer hours for like students and everything at, like, I don't have a problem with that at all. And that helps the community too, so we all work.
Reminder, our next meeting is January 8th, Monday, second Monday. We're sticking with that, plan up until the March 23rd. So, we'll be meeting in the same room. And again, our apologies for the information not getting to you guys in advance to review. So we'll figure out what happened on our end. Yes, sir.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
I don't know if if there could be just one email, like Jeffrey Fairchild. We know if there are emails coming from other people, it might just get lost,
sure.
you know?
We'll find out what happened at the city secretary, because you guys got it at the first meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone may assume that it was being sent out and it didn't, but yes, we'll figure out, because Sandy's got, sometimes I try and do updates, and if it's easier coming from me, we'll figure that out on our end. Yes, yes.
Just want to make sure that I did, I want to make sure that I just overlooked something. I did not get any information about this meeting. So
I didn't either.
I think it would have come with
the,
Yeah.
with the packet, would have been the reminder that,
We're
hey,
here.
this meeting is,
Oh, okay.
don't forget, here's your packet, yes.
yeah.
And that
just-
typically for all our boards and commissions, that's your reminder, hey, it's a week out, here are the meeting notes from last, it's your, but yeah,
And then,
but hey, you're all here, thank you all.
and then we did update this while we gave you a new copy,
Yes,
so
thank
we
you
could
for doing
add Oscar. And then if you just in case there's some type of miscommunication or something, just already have these just in your calendar, because they're standing meetings for us.
Same room, same location, same time.
And then, Rob, is it ambitious of me to ask if you could potentially by the next meeting have something we could look at from the Google Earth, maybe?
January the eighth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll try our best. We'll give it 110%.
okay.
As far as entertainment, I heard you said, what type of, you trying to get all type of music or?
We've just,
High rate everybody or?
we've decided that a musical performance might be, we're looking for more cultural, more dance, more something performance based. About 15 minutes would be the max, we think, and that's what gives us about maybe 4 per hour. So that's kind of what we're looking at for any kind of group, any dance, it could be anything. But not necessarily, nothing where it's instruments and, I don't know, but if instruments make sense, if there's a drum thing, just nothing where people got a stage plot and they're sending us technical stuff. It's like, look, we don't have time it's gotta be a quick, because we're having an MC and, groups of 20 to get the kids up there, get them organized. It's gonna go quickly. So that's kind of what we're thinking.
I think the only thing about Jan 8 is there's a college football championship game. So if someone who are diehard fans of whoever that makes it to that event,
What night is that night?
the college football championship game.
As a Florida State fan,
We might have to have a big
Protest.
screen up.
Sorry, protest.
I know nothing about any kind of game that night. I'm tuned that out. That kickoff's usually not till about 7:15, 7:30,
Yeah,
so
We'll be able-
we should be all right. We'll keep it rolling.
Yeah, we'll cut it rolling.
Keep it rolling. All right, so if that's good, I wish you all, anybody come out to the event the holiday event?
Got another one.
What'd y'all think?
It was really cool. I've only seen the drone shows on online.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see it in person. It was really
Good,
cool.
that's good feedback. Thank you all. It was,
You mentioned what the attendance might have been,
So it was like 6,800,
1,600.
and we normally bring in around 4.
It was good.
right, and I think the whole purpose of moving there is because of what we thought was going to be construction on Denton Drive and not being able to have the event that's where it's been held the last 5 years. And so we moved over there, and of course, construction is delayed. It's not started yet. But I think from a staff perspective, we liked it there. It felt like it, from the logistics and the setup and how it went down. And no one really seemed to be upset that we didn't have a tree to light. I mean, the tree's been lit for 3 weeks now over at the Grove.
Yeah, looks great.
And so there was no formal, countdown. No one seemed to be upset when they walked in. And so I think, I can't confirm that, but I think staff is making the recommendation to city management that maybe we just look at permanently doing it there. So,
Whichever's easier for the staff, that's.
Well, and we added a component that was Jeff's idea, and it was a huge hit, and that was the silent disco.
Oh, that is so much fun, yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun. The kids, we learned some things about what we won't do in the future, but like, they just ran off with them, so.
Oh, no.
So they're riding rods with them. They were in Santa's lawn.
Yeah. 'cause-
Yeah, and so we'll figure that out next year, but it was enough of a hit that it was,
We'll put them in a fence there.
yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do.
I'm serious.
We're gonna
Oh,
corral
so
them.
we're gonna do that next year.
Next year, we're gonna fence them in. Yeah.
People were
Yeah,
not
that is what-
being able to use them because they were all out wandering the site. And I think parents were seeing their kids use them and just not say that they were relying on them to distract the kids, but I think they
Well, they were.
were.
They definitely were.
They're definitely, yes. So, and or if we could find a way that they could be disabled if they go out of range, but anyways, too technical.
Yeah.
But
Is marketing coming up with like a drop dead deadline of when they want to start in full force, the marketing for
So-
flyers?
So we'll have all of that. So that what you got from Rachel was suggestions on where we could look at, and we'll get together with her and we'll literally start coming up with specifics on what we want to be shared and when. So, okay, we just need to,
All right,
Motion
so I am
adjourn.
gonna make a motion to,
you need a motion
Adjourn?
to adjourn.
I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. I need a second.
I said,
All in favor of adjournment? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Looks like there's
Thank you
leftover
all.
food. Save one for me. I didn't eat yet, so y'all can have on your way out. Grab and go. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Hey, Janet.
Yes, thank you. I'll send you-
Yeah,
I got mine.
Right. I'm gonna go try to.
I believe, you guys want me to go to, I mean, like, story hour. You know.
Other departments.
And like, oh my
So it's, you know.
And it's in a wooden box.
So, but yeah, if you look at I like vendors and stuff too, because I think they combine it, the food and the vendors together.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have one. All right, I'm gonna have to email them to you.
No way.
The meeting.
He has a lot of stuff here.
I have a copy. That's how I read it.
Okay.
Jeff over here said, don't fall towel.
You need to sign it too, Jeffrey.
I got it. Okay.
And then didn't even have a paper.
Thank you.
Actually, we're meeting,